So here's how to find a mentor, and I do the same thing to find the mentors I found. And I'll also talk about what is the value of a mentor and why having a mentor is very key to your success. And I mean, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you know why that's important, but I'll share it just in case some people don't know for some reason. So for me, I'll share with you my journey of why I even started looking for mentors. So I remember, I'm originally from Iran, right? I grew up with no money, the same story as people here. It doesn't matter where I'm from. However, when I grew up in Iran, I didn't have like the internet and all that. So I didn't even know what I wanted to do growing up. I got no information in terms of how to make money, how to have better health, none of that, right? And I came to the US when I was 15. Around 16, 17, that's when I noticed, okay, I don't want to just go to school most of my life, get a 9-to-5 job that I hate, and die without, making anything happen. And I found that out, early on, around, again, 16, 17. And I remember when I was around 19, almost 20, but 19, I watched a video of a guy, I think it was Jason Capital, and now he's famous on Instagram and all that. You've probably seen videos of him. And I remember he made this video talking about how to find mentors. And prior to that, I had heard how people who became millionaires or even billionaires, they all had mentors, right? They had someone they were listening to, someone they were getting advice from. I was watching the documentary of Arnold Schwarzenegger on Netflix, and even in there he talks about his story of how when he moved from Austria to America, there was this, at that time, the guy who played Hercules, I forgot the guy's name, but that guy became Arnold's mentor and supported him how to get in the best shape and win all these Mr. Olympias and all that stuff, right? And so I started to understand, okay, without a mentor, there's no chance. Because at that time I understood the fact that I don't have money, I'm living with my mom, I don't have a relationship, I don't have anything I want, is because I'm just listening to myself. And I knew I didn't have anything that I wanted. I didn't have the type of money I wanted. I didn't have virtually nothing. The mindset, nothing. But what's funny, and most people, they're not where they want to be, but they still are listening to themselves for some reason and wonder why they're not making money. And because, your mind, it feels like it's you, but it's actually not you. It's just a system put in you to keep you at a low level, and it's formed based on how you grow up, right? The first 7 years of your life. And most of us growing up, we don't have rich parents, we don't have parents with stable relationships or any of that. So obviously that gets programmed into you. And then when you start growing up, anytime you want to now see all these courses, make money, all that, anytime you start doing it, your own mind is going to be like, oh, but take a nap instead of going to this networking, or I don't need to get on a call with that person, I'll be 5 minutes late to this meeting, I'll do this, I'll do that, or what if this happens, what if that happens, what if I die, what if this, I don't know, right? And that's your own mind. It keeps talking you out of your own destiny, your own full potential. And having a mentor, the importance of that is a mentor will keep you in line, keep you in check, and make sure you're on track of hitting your goals, right? So it holds you accountable. Also, if you find a mentor, here's a key. So you can't just find someone who has what you want. You have to find someone who has what you want and has been where you are. It's very key. Meaning if they had to have a point where they didn't know anything about money, they didn't have any wealthy parents, if you don't have any wealthy parents, and somehow they made their money, and whatever they did, if you do that, you'll get that too, right? And so my mentors, same thing. They came from not money, not anything, and started making money. And I asked them how. They showed me the how. And when I applied it to making money in 30 days, I started making thousands of dollars. But then I didn't know how to make it consistently, so I would make like 8,000 in a day, but then not make anything for a month, then make 10,000, then make nothing for 3 months. And it was very inconsistent. And I had to learn, okay, what I have to do, what activity I have to do to then get on the path of then hitting that consistently, right? Having a routine, all that stuff. I'll make videos on that later. But yeah, having a mentor that has what you want, has been where you are. And here's the key thing, right? I used to think, oh, you can find mentors through books, through courses, YouTube videos, all that. But that's not really mentorship. That's just someone that you could get some advice from. Cool. But a mentor is someone who has all the stuff you want, but also you have physical access to that person. Meaning they will call you up, be like, hey, let's go hang out here. And you hang out and he's like, all right, so what did you do this week? What were you working on? What were your fears? What was this? Oh, I remember when I was participating in that fear, I tried this. Go try that. Come back. And it's like you could meet with them in person. And also, a real mentor is someone who then allows you to hang out with them for long periods of time. You could go to their place. You can hang out with them. And that's very key, which that is very rare and hard to find. So now, how do you find that mentor? First of all, first thing I did is the type of people I want. I'm looking for someone who has more money and all that. Where can I find someone like that? And that's how I found out what are major events, which major events are events that happen over the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a 3-day event. And it can happen anywhere in the world. So you have to be willing to fly out, hotels, all that stuff. So I found out there was this event by a group called Gin. And it was in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. This was February of 2019. And I had to come up with $2,000 to go to that event. And at that time, I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything. And the way I came up with the money is I got into a car accident, very minor car accident. From that accident, got $2,000 and it paid for my whole trip because I knew how to set my mind to something and how to quote unquote manifest, right? So if you want to know even how that stuff is possible, we could chat more one-on-one. But so I went to that event, and the first 2 days, Friday, Saturday, I didn't meet. I mean, I talked to some people, but back then I was very shy. My English still wasn't that good. I was switching up words. I don't know, my grammar was very bad. And so people would get bored just talking to me. And so I didn't make any friends. And then on the last day, on Sunday, I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, let me find someone who's at least making $2,000 a month. Someone who at least has a job. Because I don't even have that. Right? So even if I find someone who found a job, they can maybe help me find make a resume or something. And I remember on the last day, on my way to the last session, I met a guy in front of me. His name's Drake. And I was like, hey. He was like, hey, what's up? I was like, are you part of this group? He's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, like, I'm trying to make some friends. I haven't met anyone. And he's like, oh, give me your number, let's stay in touch and all that. And then I found at that time he was making like 10,000 a month, 20,000, I don't know exactly, but somewhere around there. And I was like, holy shit. And he told me a story, like he definitely came from a background of not being able to make money, going more in debt, living with his parents, with his mom. And so I was like, all right, this is good. And I remember as soon as we sat down for the session, I turned to him, I was like, for some reason I feel like you're gonna be my mentor. And he just like smiled and was like, yeah. I'm holding the camera down because I see cops. I think there's a funeral or something. Like, when there's a bunch of cars lined up for a funeral. Alright, sorry. So then Drake introduced me to a few more people who are making a lot more money. And one of those people in Houston, it happened, I live in Houston, he lived 5 minutes from me. And I was like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. And so when we came back from Dominican Republic, I naturally started hanging out with him, and he became my mentor. And he knew his way of understanding things was so cool that I never had heard anything like that before. The way he understood reality, the way he understood the mind, the way he was able to go from, normal person, like, parents divorced, his mom, I think, got married several times, moving around, being with step-parents, then grandparents, switching schools often, eventually going to the college, party life, all that stuff, not making money, and eventually he figured out how to do it. And I was like, dude, how did you do it? And he shared with me how, and I applied that, and now I'm driving a 6-figure car and have been able to make a lot more money. I dress like this because now I don't really care as much as about like dressing fancy, but yeah, I was able to hang out with him all the time, and he shared with me a lot of stuff. So that's the power of mentors. Now, ask yourself, so here's how simply to find a mentor is, what is it that you want to improve in? Is it a type of sport? Is it money? Is it relationships? What is it? And then ask yourself, what is a group I can find where I can find more people like that in that group? Then go in that group and start talking to people and ask them, what are your results? And what was your story, upbringing, what was your upbringing like? And see what are the results. Based on that, see if that's something you want. And what is their upbringing, and see how close is that to your story. It doesn't have to be exact, but it has to be like, if you want to make money and the person was born in a, upper class family, it's like you can't listen to that person because they're just programmed to make money. They don't even know how they're making money. So the advice they give doesn't matter, So because they don't understand your fears, your stress levels, and all that stuff. And if you don't know where to start, just reach out to me. Either I'll see if you're a good fit for me to mentor you, because I mentor very few people. You have to be very teachable, because the way I mentor, it's like not easy, because it's not easy to be successful. If you want easy, get a job, and at some point you'll get fired from that job anyway. But by now you should realize life is not easy, but it can be fun. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean it has to be painful and you have to dread living. It's hard either way, right? It's like making money, working hard, all that, it's hard. But then at the same time, being lazy, not having money, not being able to afford anything, that's also very hard. So it's like, which one do you want to pick? So if you want, you can reach out to me for free. Most people would charge you a lot of money if they actually have real results. But I got the results because I was like, I want to share with more people how it's done. But at the same time, I can't just support 1,000 people for free. So while I'm still offering that, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I think I'm on, I don't know, the main social medias. I'm not on Twitter or any of that stuff, but on Facebook, I'm very active. You can reach out. Mahyar SD over there. Same as my channel name. Just look it up. And I have links in the description, so you can just click on it. It will take you there. And just reach out and DM the word mentor. And I'll know, you reached out because you want a mentor or mentorship. And then, we could go on from there. But yeah, that's like at least the start. Like, I'm making that step easier if you don't know any other way. But yeah, without having a mentor, I'll tell you that success is virtually impossible if you don't have mentors. And the people who are making some money, they're listening to someone. Whether it's their parent, if their parents have made money, if it's their friend, if their friend has made money, or someone that's done it, that's supporting them. But if your parents don't have what you want, then you can't listen to them. If you don't have what you want, you can't listen to yourself. And that's the hard truth, right? Like, people are like, trust yourself. It's like, how could you trust yourself if you don't have any results? You could trust yourself when you're getting the results, and at that level, then you could just listen to yourself because you have the results. But until then, you can't really listen to yourself. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Reach out if you're teachable, and we'll go from there. See you in the next one. Peace.